Where do the richest Americans live? Have you checked the newest Forbes 400, the full list of the richest people in America yet? Surprise, Bill Gates, with a net worth of $81 billion, is ranked number 1 for the 23rd year running. Meanwhile, his friend Warren Buffett fell to third place for the first time in 15 years with a net worth of $65.5 billion. Thanks to soaring stock prices of hot tech firms, CEOs at the helm of those companies seem to have been accumulating wealth at a much faster pace than others. Amazon.com CEO Jeff Bezos gained $20 billion to boost his net worth to $67 billion, making him the second richest person in the U.S. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg jumped into fourth place, his highest rank ever, with a net worth of $55.5 billion. However, Oracle founder Larry Ellison landed at number 5 for the first time since 2007. His net worth is $49.3 billion. Standing on the number 6 spot is former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg, CEO of the eponymous firm Bloomberg LP, who has a net worth of $45 billion. These 6 richest multi-billionaires have a combined $363.3 billion at their withdrawal, most of which is still held as stakes in the companies they founded. However, part of their fortune is vested in real estate. Mr. Gates, for one, owns a Washington mansion worth about $170 million, several horse ranches across the U.S. and shares in some luxury hotel chains through his private investment firm, Cascade. Here, take a look at the residences the 6 richest moguls call home. 1. Bill Gates' worth, $81 billion home, Medina, Washington. Mr. Gates, 60, spends most of his time at his 66,000 square foot Medina, Washington, mansion, nicknamed Xanadu 2.0 after the title character's estate in Citizen Kane. The mansion overlooks Lake Washington. It took Mr. Gates 7 years and $63.2 million to build this house, which is filled with lots of high-tech features. He purchased the lot for $2 million in 1988, but it's now worth an estimated $170 million, according to public records. 2. Jeff Bezos' worth, $67 billion home, Medina, Washington. Mr. Bezos, 52, in the process of building his e-commerce empire, scooped up a vast amount of real properties over the years, earning him the number 26 spot on the Land Report's list of America's largest landowners last year. In terms of residences, he has a 165,000-acre ranch in West Texas, a waterfront house in Washington state, 3 linked apartments in Manhattan's Century Tower, and a 12,000-square-foot Beverly Hills estate that boasts Tom Cruise as a neighbor, according to Forbes. His home at Medina, Washington, close to Amazon's headquarters, boasts 5.35 acres and about 29,000 square foot of living space. Aside from the main home, there's also a caretaker's cottage and a 4,500 square foot boathouse on Lake Washington. 3. Warren Buffett worth, $65.5 billion home, Omaha, Nebraska. Although the shrewdest investor on earth holds multiple real estate investments, Mr. Buffett, 86, is known for living humbly. His home sits on a corner in Omaha, Nebraska, which he bought in 1958 for $31,500. Mr. Buffett has lived there ever since. The house, originally built in 1921, underwent several expansions to make it a cozy and comfortable 6,500 square foot home for the man who has a net worth of over $65.5 billion. 4. Mark Zuckerberg worth, $55.5 billion home, Palo Alto, California. The youngest richest entrepreneur docks most of his wealth in schools, health, and other philanthropies. His real estate portfolio include his home in Palo Alto and a 9.9 million pied-a-terre near Dolores Park in San Francisco. Mr. Zuckerberg, 32, purchased his first craftsman-style 5,000 square foot home in Palo Alto in 2011 for $7 million. He snapped up 4 of the houses surrounding his home in the following years for about $43.8 million to better keep his privacy. But his plan to tear down and rebuild those 4 homes has been stalled. 5. Larry Ellison worth, $49.3 billion home, Woodside, California. Oracle Executive Chairman Larry Ellison, 72, has an extensive real estate portfolio. He has bought up large parts of whole neighborhoods in Malibu and around Lake Tahoe. He owns a $70 million Beechwood mansion in Newport, Rhode Island, a garden villa in Kyoto, Japan, and 98% of the land of Lanai, Hawaii's 6th largest island, which he purchased in 2012 for $500 million, according to published reports. His estate in Woodside, California, with an estimated value of $110 million, is modeled after 16th-century Japanese architecture, complete with a man-made 2.3-acre lake. 6. Michael Bloomberg worth, $45 billion home, Manhattan, New York. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg, 74, has more than a dozen of properties worldwide. He spends most of his time at his Upper East Side townhouse, but he also owns estates in the Hamptons in New York, as well as in London, Bermuda, Colorado, and Florida. Mr. Bloomberg's townhouse, located at 17 East 79th Street, spans 5 stories with a limestone exterior. During his 3 terms as mayor, Mr. Bloomberg lived in the townhouse instead of Gracie Mansion. However, he apparently has a plan to turn it into a mega mansion. Since 1989, he has been gradually buying up units at 19 East 79th St, the townhouse co-op that's right next door to his current residence. Out of the 6 units in the white 1,880 Greek Revival-style building, Bloomberg now owns 5 of them, according to the New York Observer.